Hey everyone, Garrett here, and in this video I'm going to be starting you guys off on web design and web development. So in this video we're going to be going over everything, all the software and everything that you're going to need to get started with web development and web design, because what I want to do is I want to start teaching you guys web design and stuff, and we're just going to need you're going to need these things so we can get started and proceed with teaching everything. So if you already have these things, great. If not, just listen along or watch the video or whatever, and I'll show you guys exactly what you need. So before I get started, I want to let you guys know that there is a free alternative to everything I'm going to mention here. So for the Mac side, because that's what I'm going to be using for everything pretty much. So for the Mac side, you're going to need an HTML editor, and you can actually use one that's not exactly an HTML editor, but it is on your computer already. In fact, it comes with your computer. It's called TextEdit. TextEdit is a basic notepad type application that Apple has put on the Mac OS X operating system, and it's pretty much a word processor if you don't have one, and it's not really big or powerful or anything like that, but you can use it for HTML stuff. Instead of saving your files as .txt, which I believe is what TextEdit saves it as, you would save it as .html or .css. So you would write your HTML code, your CSS code, whatever, and you save it as .html, .css, and then you would just FTP that to your server. So also likewise for Windows, you can actually use Notepad, which I believe comes with every PC, and you can use Notepad to also do HTML and CSS same way that you would do it with TextEdit. Instead of saving it as whatever the native file format is for Notepad, just save it as a .html or .css document or file. So first one is the one that I'm going to be using. I have it right down here. I'm going to be using it every single one of the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, all those tutorials. I'm going to be using Coda. I would recommend it because I use it, so I know it the best out of all of the ones I'm going to be showing you, and I know that it's extremely, really well designed. It's also the most expensive, or second most expensive out of all of them, but if you have it, you'll be able to follow along exactly what I'm doing in the tutorials, because you'll have it and everything will be in the same place. Whereas if you get another one, you'll be able to do it, but you'll have to be looking around. So it's up to you guys. The price, I would imagine, would have a big having to do with it, but Coda is $99, and it has an FTP client built into it, as well as the actual typing code inputting interface. You can do pretty much any language you want for the web: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP. I think there's one for Perl, Ruby, and others, which we probably won't even get into for a while. But it is all there, and Coda, I would definitely recommend that. Next is Espresso by MacRabbit. And this is, how much is Espresso? Alright, so Espresso is $80, so $20 cheaper. And a lot of people use this. Is actually gaining traction in the web design community, and is a really good application. I've also used this before, and I do like it a lot. It adds a little bit more than Coda does. It's a little bit newer. It might be a little bit more intense, a little bit more graphically inclined, I guess, if you will. But it's also cheaper, so that might be a big help. But Espresso, there it is. It's also really good, and it also has an FTP client built in, so I would also recommend that one. Next is TextMate, which is probably the most popular one in the web development community, being it is the cheapest. It is $57, and you can obviously see that there is a difference between this, Coda, and Espresso. Main reason being that it is less smooth, or I guess polished, as far as the graphical user interface is concerned, but it does the job. I'm not sure if there's an FTP client built in, but there is a HTML editor built in, obviously. Now before I go on, I just want to say real quick, Dreamweaver. So this is I forget this one a lot because I don't use it, but I do have it and I will be teaching it. So Dreamweaver CS, I have CS5. If you buy it, it'll be CS 5.5. You can get it in the Web Design Premium package, which if you can get that, then great. If not, you can also buy it as a standalone product. However, the upgrade from a previous version is $120, which means that to actually buy it originally, like to start off and just buy it now, I think is about $400. So I wouldn't recommend that just because of the price and because Dreamweaver is extremely involved, and we'll go over it and we'll teach it. But there's a lot to it that you're not going to need for web development and web design that you could just do probably even better and just fine with Coda or TextMate, Espresso, or TextEdit for all that, you know. So I always forget about these again because I am on a Mac and I always forget about the Windows people out there. And I found this. It's called HTML Kit. It is free, I believe. I just looked up best HTML editor for Windows free, and this is what came up. So I didn't really check it out, but you can also use Dreamweaver for Windows, and you can also use Microsoft Expression, I believe it's called, for Windows, both of which you have to pay for. But this is free. I don't have it, so I don't know how it works. I can't really recommend it or not recommend it, but I'm sure it's great, and it's worth a shot. And if you have a better one, let me know, and I'll make a video on it. Next is CyberDuck. You're going to need CyberDuck. The thing that's great about CyberDuck is it is available for the Mac and the PC, and it is 100% completely free. CyberDuck is an FTP client, which you will need if you don't have one built into your HTML editor. So if you don't have one in your HTML editor, I would definitely go ahead, cyberduck.ch, download this. I used to use this before I got Coda, and I loved it. It did a great job of everything I wanted it to do. So next is the Photoshop. You're going to need a digital image editor. Let's say after you get through HTML and CSS, if you want to design the actual website before you go ahead and build it so you know what it's going to look like, if you want to design a logo, if you want to edit an image like this one is edited right here, you're going to need the best one is Photoshop. It's also the most expensive. I have Photoshop CS4, and that's what I'm going to be using for all the tutorials and what I use on a daily basis. So I would recommend Photoshop, but if not, Pixelmator if you're on the Mac. Pixelmator, which by the way just won the Apple Design Award for 2011. Pixelmator is only $30 in the Mac App Store, and it's very similar to Photoshop, limited as to what it can do. Can't do everything that Photoshop can, but as far as web design goes, it will most certainly do the job. I used to use it, and I loved it. A little bit more than Photoshop, although Photoshop can do more than it can. I think it was a great application and a great buy, especially for $30. Next is a free alternative to both Photoshop and Pixelmator, and that is GIMP. GIMP is available for both Mac OS X and Windows, and it is completely free, and it is pretty much like Photoshop. I haven't exactly played around with it that much, although we can maybe do some tutorials on GIMP in the near future. But I've seen online what people have been able to do with it, and I'd say it's a very, very capable application. So I would definitely recommend getting GIMP if you don't want to pay for either Photoshop or Pixelmator. So I'm Garrett, and thanks for watching the Getting Started video on what you guys are going to need. Now all you need to do is get these, and we're going to go on and learn some web design. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.